I wanna know ya. Cameroon, Guinea-Bissau, Sierra Leone. Gotta let me show ya. Nigeria, Bioko Island, Liberia. I wanna know ya. Cameroon, Guinea-Bissau, Sierra Leone. Gotta let me show ya. Nigeria.
You said you've been excited since you did this. You were excited even before the swabs came.
I know. I'm so excited. I mean, I've always been a little skeptical of DNA tests because I'm like, what if they clone me? But you know what? I was like, all right, I'm gonna trust this. I'm gonna do it, and it's for a good reason. So I'm like, for an amazing reason. Actually, it's an amazing reason. No, honestly, this is shifting my paradigm right now. Like, even this knowledge, I'm like, wow, I'm actually about to have this knowledge. Wow. So,
what do you think that's going to mean to you?
So, identity. Identity is a big one. So much, but definitely identity. You know what I mean? Like being able to say, oh, I'm from more than just Georgia. You know, like more than just a color. It's really more than just a color. You know, it's like a nationality, an ethnicity, a place of origin. For my lineage too, not even just me.
How do you identify yourself now? Like if I were to say, who are you? What would you say?
Black. I would say black, you know. Black. I used to say when I was really younger, I used to say black and Jamaican, which isn't even much of a difference, you know what I mean? And that construct actually came down. So I just be like, oh, black, you know, like everyone else.
But in terms of, your identity is more than your race. Like what are some of the other ways that you'd identify yourself?
Black woman, young black woman, you know, like adjectives, like my personality, or like how would I identify? Actually, I don't really like to identify myself. I don't like to put titles to myself because I feel like it can be kind of narcissistic. You know, it's like, I'm intelligent and beautiful. You know, I don't know. I'm like, it's up to you on what you think.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the key thing about identity, Selah, is it's whatever you want it to be. And it's constantly evolving. So you can decide that you're one thing today, and if you want to be something else tomorrow, that's completely up to you because it's you.
Yeah, exactly. And it's exactly, constantly evolving. You know, it's like water. It's like water.
Exactly.
Yeah. Except my identity, though. So I'm excited for that.
Okay, so I just wanted to, I put together a few slides to share with you because last time we did it on Instagram. And so I just wanted to give you some background about what we did and how we did it so that the context will be broader and deeper for you. So I'm going to start with this here. So really, and we've talked about this already. Well, let me go back. So what we're doing is really finding a missing piece to your puzzle, your identity puzzle. And that's work that we take very seriously. And I'm very honored that you, despite your concerns or, you know, your fears, decided that this was the information that you were going to get is important enough for you to participate. And as you know, we don't sell or share your personal or genetic information. And now that we have determined a result for you, your DNA will be destroyed. And so you're safe with us. Now, I believe that tracing your ancestry as a Black person is an ancestral imperative. So Selah, we are part of a continuum that goes back for tens of thousands of hundreds of thousands of years. But even if we just look at ancient Kemet, right? They told us, they left us everything that we needed to know on the walls of the temples and the tombs. And that knowledge was carried as those populations migrated out of Egypt or Kemet and into what we now know as other parts of Africa, but for us particularly West Africa. And so it gave rise to all these amazing empires, right? The Akan Empire, the Mali Empire, the Songhai Empire. That's part of our continuum. That's part of who we are. That's part of our foundation. But here in the States, we're only taught about this one little slim part of that whole continuum, right? The system of white supremacy here in America wants us to believe that our history started with slavery.
Right.
And you and I know that that's not the case. That was only a very small part of this amazing continuum that goes back to the beginning of civilization. And now here we are today, and you are, on the front lines, leading us and lifting up our voices against what still continues to be needless and senseless assassinations of Black people. And so the more that we know about where we come from, we can dig deeper for that sense of being Black and proud that we're all experiencing right now, right? To really make a difference and to live our lives differently. And so I'm excited that you are looking at this identity information as something that's going to transform who you are. I'm very excited. So let me tell you what we did. You got half of your DNA from your mother and half from your father. We all do. So if your mother's yellow and your father's blue, then that's going to make you green, right? So imagine that you're green, but you have a little bit, you and your brothers and sisters are green, but you have a little bit of yellow. You have a little bit of DNA that you inherited from your mother that didn't mix with what you got from your father. That's called mitochondrial DNA. It's the DNA in your body that is maternally inherited. That means that you got it from your mother, she got it from her mother, she got it from her mother, all the way back for generations. That little bit of DNA does not change. And what's even more fascinating to me about that DNA is that mitochondrial DNA is what powers every cell in our body. It's the DNA from our mother that gives our bodies the energy to function. And we've been able to trace that DNA all the way back to Central Western African country for you. So these results aren't just for you. They're for all of your brothers and sisters, your mother, your aunts and uncles, your cousins, your grandmother, her brothers and sisters, their children. You see where I'm going with this? Everybody on that line now shares this result that you're about to find out. Do you have any questions about what I've explained so far?
Nope, I get it.
You're like, get to the answer. Tell me where I'm from.
Yeah, I get it. I did a lot of we spoke about it too. So like I comprehend.
Okay, cool. So we were fortunate to find your maternal ancestry in the country of Africa. I mean, the continent of Africa. And the people, your result was quite unique, actually.
Really?
Because the ancestry of your maternal line is from a country that is actually in the very center of Africa.
The very center?
The very center of Africa. It's been inhabited for thousands and thousands of years. It's called Central African Republic.
Wow.
And if you can see here, it's landlocked. It's completely landlocked.
Right.
It's surrounded by the countries of Cameroon and Chad and Sudan and Southern Sudan and the Congo and the Democratic Republic of the Congo. And so I had to ask, how did the people of the Central African Republic become enslaved because they were so far away from the shores?
Right.
So imagine how they had to be walked from all that way. Now, the people that you share ancestry with are called the Biaka people.
Wow.
They're also known sometimes as the Aka. So when you look it up, sometimes you'll see B-Aka, sometimes you'll see Aka. They are in Southwest Central African Republic, so very close to Cameroon. So you will also find Biaka people in Cameroon, because the southwest part of the country is right there along the border of Cameroon, if you can see that.
Mm-hmm.
And they are tropical forest people.
Ah.
So another interesting fact was as colonization occurred and existed sort of around the tropical rainforest, the Biaka just continued to go deeper and deeper into the forest to avoid all of the impact of colonization. They are hunter-gatherers.
Mm.
And the women actually hunt.
Mm.
And so I would say they don't hunt. Say again?
No, that makes so much sense for my personality.
Say more about that.
I'm just a very we can call it tomboy in like American society, but I'm very like a warrior almost. Right? Like I have this warrior drive. I almost don't like I respect some of the traditional values of male, like, oh, women are submit, that kind of thing. But also I'm very like, I'm a fighter. Like I'm also a fighter. So I'm always like, where does this come from? So even to know that the women are hunter-gatherers, or the women are also hunters, that makes so much sense.
So check this out. So one of the things I read when I was doing some research for you was that they have hunting is part of a ritual. African societies all have rituals. And there are different ceremonies for different things. And so they also have a hunting ceremony. And typically we think of hunting as, being very quiet, kind of laid back in the cut, and then you wait until you can spring on, or shoot the animal, they get close enough. Well, they're the complete opposite. They're rowdy. Like they make all of this noise to stir the animals up, but they've already laid out nets in a circle around where they think animals will be. And then when the animal kind of lifts up because of all the noise,
right,
they then throw the nets over them. But check this out. So antelopes, do this for antelopes, right? The women tackle the antelopes, Selah.
That's so fire. Ah! I believe it. Oh my God.
When I saw that, I was like, okay. Now, there are other things. I mean, there's so much, and I'm certainly not an expert on the Biaka or on Central African Republic, but I did want to pull out a few things, that could sort of whet your appetite, because I know as soon as we're done, your results are going to be in your email. And so as soon as we're done, you can dig in and look at all the materials and go on Google or wherever you're going to go to research. But I did want to point out too that they're known for their music and their dancing and their art. And their art often takes the form of body modification. So that can be just body painting with dyes that they make from berries and fruits in the rainforest, to scarification, or it could be their haircuts, the way they wear their hair. But they are, the basis of the art is to represent the sounds and the sights that they see in the forest where they live. And then musically, they've been studied by the UN. There is a population within the Biaka people that UNESCO has studied very closely, because their music is a very unique and distinctive vocal tradition. It's very complex, and apparently many, if not everyone, in the Biaka communities can actually sing, and that's how they carry on their traditions.
It's actually so funny. Literally 15 minutes ago, I was just singing, and my boyfriend, he was like, "You have such a beautiful voice." I was like, "Thank you." But I was like, it runs in the family. Like singing runs in my family. It came to me like, maybe, well, my mother is obviously a musician, my grandfather, my grandmother, but when my little sister, when her voice started developing, I was like, okay, this runs in the family. I was like, this, you know, and so to even say that they're musically inclined is so on brand for my family. You know,
I love it. Your Africanness is on brand.
Right. It's on key.
Ah, nice. So Selah, that is part of who you are, the Biaka people living in Central African Republic today. I want to welcome you to the African Ancestry family.
Thank you.
Happy to have you here as part of our community.
My pleasure is so mine. Yeah, I have to book a trip now. Like I have to go, you know? That's amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. I was gonna call my mom, I'm about to call everyone and be like, guys, did you know? I'm also gonna get now from here, I wanna get like the paternal as well.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanna get all the information. Like I'm like, all right, maternal, paternal. Like let's connect everything, connect all the dots.
And one of the things you might want to do, I think we included a paternal kit.
Mm-hmm. I haven't asked anyone yet, but I'm like, I wanna get that.
One of the things you might want to consider is, since right now we're on your mother's side, giving that test to a man on your mother's side.
Yeah, like my uncle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then we can fill out your mother's side, and then you can go to your father's side. I think you probably, if my research is correct, you all know the paternal lineage.
Yeah, we know the
one. But you can have someone do exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're on it. So your email will be there in just a few shakes. We had sent you the keepsake box when we sent you the kit.
Oh yeah.
We're sending you a hard copy of your results in case you want to keep them in the keepsake box. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You are so welcome. One question for you as we close. So, what does it mean to you to remember who you are?
It's a sense of completion. Again, it's definitely a big sense of identity, especially being a Black woman in America. It is like, I can go there now, you know, like I can touch it. I think that's what it is. I can touch it, you know, and it's like, it activates the memory. Like I know it's more than just, oh, I think I'm from maybe, you know, it's like, no, actually this, no, like now I'm going to be like, actually, I'm not Black. Don't call me
Biaka.
Black.
I'm Biaka.
I'm Biaka. Like, don't call me Black. I'm Biaka. Yeah. So it's that. I'm excited. So thank you.
You're welcome. I hope you have a very, very, very wonderful weekend.
I will. I'm going to be researching and calling everyone. And I'll probably be able to get my uncle to do it.
Yeah. Or if your uncle has a son, you could use your uncle's son.
I can get that. Oh, I can get David. Okay, yeah.
Might be easier. I don't know.
Yeah. A word. Cool. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And if you have any questions along the way, Selah, please don't hesitate to ask, okay?
Yes.
All right. Take care.
You too. Bye. Thank you.
You're welcome.